All right, time now to welcome a man who is a big part of the basketball scene here in Vegas. He's going from Las Vegas High School to Ohio State University, Newark, where he got buckets to a pro career overseas in countries like Cyprus, to a national championship coach. I'm talking about none other than Shea Jones, my guy. How you doing, buddy?
Good to see you, man. It's been a while. It's been a while, buddy.
Too long. It's been too long. First thing I got to ask you right off the top, Gonzaga, UCLA game, how amazing was that?
Well, it was tough for me. I'm Jalen Suggs' family. I'm close with his uncles out here, and then obviously Tiger, I know his mom. So I was torn, and I thought Tiger was playing so well. And it was, it went back and forth. And it was exactly what you want in a March Madness game. It was everything. It reminds me of those days when I was a kid watching the games. We didn't have all these channels and stuff, so you were lucky to catch a good one. But to get a semifinal game like that, that is what you would have had if Gordon Hayward would have made that shot in Indy years ago.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true. Back in your day, they didn't have all those channels. Like, you're so old. I got you, man. Now, hey, listen, you played basketball here, and then you went to Ohio State, Newark, then overseas or whatever. But how about this? What drew you to actually coaching after you played professional ball and whatnot? Why did you want to be a coach?
Well, the funny thing is, what drew me to playing was my desire to coach. I knew that all coaches used to be players, and I played for Mel Washington at Las Vegas High School, rest in peace. And, my thing was I wanted to be a coach, and I knew that all coaches used to be players, so I knew I had to elevate my game, to elevate my mind, as Coach LaRock would always say. And that's kind of my avenue. I knew I wanted to get my degree, and basketball was going to be the conduit for me to do that.
I got you. And not just a degree, but, you also got your master's, as most coaches have to do, but you got your master's as well. So, so where was your first coaching job?
My first coaching job was at Deer Las Vegas High School. Our very first year out, when we moved from downtown out to East Sahara, right there on the foothills of the mountain out there. First year I was with Hiram McKenna. We had a great team, Kenyatta Clyde and Eric Finley, and amazing team. We ended up going to the state championship game, lost in the state championship game to Cimarron Memorial High School in 1994. That's my first coaching job, and I loved it to death. I didn't have a car. The bus didn't go all the way out there. They used to stop at Christie Lane, and I used to have to walk the rest of the way. But, hey, I loved it. We won games. We won a championship, and we got all the way to the state championship game. So
that's dope. So I'm assuming now that if you're a coach, then success follows, because you also won a national championship while being a coach at Phoenix College, where you're at now?
Yeah. We won it in 2014. Most unbelievable experience of my life. I spoke at my father's funeral that Monday. The following Saturday, I drove from Columbus, Ohio to Illinois, and we ended up winning the national championship on Saturday. And my players were always telling me all week, texting me, "We're going to win it for you. We got you, coach. We got you." And we actually pulled it off. It was the most unbelievable thing. I wear this piece of my dad with me everywhere I go.
That's a beautiful thing. Now, I've seen pictures of it as well. And we'll show some of the people those pictures. But, yeah, it looked like it was such a good time. And then the fact that you won that, I guess, how much does that kind of fuel your fire as a coach? Because it almost seems if you win something like that, you just want more. You just want more.
You know what? It's a curse and a gift. You know what I mean? Winning it was something you never thought you'd do. Like that, some of the coaches I've idolized have never won one. I've only won one. So to win one, now you know what it takes. Now you know how close you actually are, and you know what that recipe is. And the recipe, ironically, isn't about just having good players. It starts in June. It starts in May. And I tell guys all the time that the championship games are scheduled on a specific day, but the work that you put in starts now. Like, you have to put in the work now. You can't do it on the back end. You have to do it early, and it comes to fruition in the future.
Now, now you being a Las Vegas kid and being same era that I'm from, I'm assuming, this is an easy assumption, that UNLV was a big part of your basketball life growing up. Just how big was UNLV to you growing up?
I remember being at the convention center and seeing these huge guys and Coach Tarkanian being able to get these guys to be like putty in his hands, and they would listen to him, everything that he said, and they admired him and revered him so much that I wanted that. I didn't see the players and want to be the players. I saw the coach, and I just saw the love and the admiration that people had for him in the city. And I knew that that's what I wanted. I wanted people to respect me. And when I was young, I had the opportunity to interact with Reggie Theus, and I picked up some things from him about just giving back. And it was such a rewarding thing that, as long as I can remember, I've wanted to help young people, or kind of help young people get out of their own way sometimes, So that was my motivation. And then when we moved over to Thomas and Mack, and those teams just got better, and the community just bought into it. We're a blue-collar town, man. This is the one thing that we really own, and that is Runnin Rebel basketball. That is something that means so much to us. It's such a part of our local culture that I think people don't seem to realize that. And it's such a big part of our day-to-day sports life, So I wanted to be a part of something like that.
I get it. I would assume, though, as far as you were a fan as well, though. I mean, watching them play, especially right now with what's going on with Gonzaga and how, they're trying to become the first team to win a national championship and go undefeated since Indiana did it. And, of course, the last team that had the biggest shot at doing it was the UNLV team, obviously, that broke my heart. But I'm assuming you were a huge fan of the team as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, we did the same exact thing in 2014. We won a national championship. We come back in 2015. We have National Player of the Year. We're ranked number one in the country the majority of the year. And we get to the Final Four. We actually lost in double overtime in the Final Four in 2015. And, I still see not Anderson Hunt's shot being missed. I see that bad call on Greg Anthony.
Yes.
That changed everything.
Oh, it was terrible. I'm not from Las Vegas, but that's my favorite team of all time. And that game broke my heart.
My heart. I went to Vegas high school. Greg went to Rancho. We're 2 years apart. That still bothered me.
You guys are rivals, so I get it.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming when T.J. Otzelberger left and Kevin Kruger got hired, I guess how much did your antenna rise? Because I'm thinking, you're a guy who's a coach. Obviously, you're coaching down in Arizona right now, but man, how much would it be a dream job for you to just come back and be a part of the staff and work here in Las Vegas?
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, every coach has a dream job. Every coach has, for me, Vegas that's the mecca of basketball for me. My family's there, close friends like yourself that are there. Everything Las Vegas is Las Vegas. But my antenna doesn't get the opportunity to ever rise, because as soon as it happens, I get, it's like this is a annual thing. I'm constantly getting these calls, getting these text messages, getting people in the community like, oh, you got this and you got that. We need you there, this, that, and the other. And, it just isn't really that simple. But, your friends don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that. Like, get on the plane and get out here, But yeah, it's, for me, it's a place that has such special meaning in my heart. Coming from Columbus, Ohio as a kid and moving to Las Vegas, I didn't even think, this is football. I didn't even think about basketball until I got to Las Vegas. And for basketball to be a part of my life, it's an understatement to say what Vegas's role played in that. It was, for me, there's nothing greater than that camaraderie you get with team. But when it's basketball, for me, it's Las Vegas. It isn't Indiana or New York City. It's Las Vegas for me, and that run and gun style and that community and how that was the center of what connected us all together. So yeah, definitely my antenna goes up, but my family and friends make sure it does if I'm losing connectivity.
Yeah. No, I was thinking the same thing. I mean, I hear you got references from guys like Robert Smith, Wink Adams, Sean Watkins. Those are just some of the former Rebels, that speak so highly of you. Like, how does that make you feel when your peers, people that are in your city that are big basketball names that come from UNLV, have that kind of reference for you?
Well, it means a lot. Like for me, I've been all over the world basketball-wise. And for me to get an opportunity to get praise from people back home is tremendous to me. Like, that's what really ultimately matters the most to me is the people that I grew up with. When they want me to speak to their kids, when they want me to, when I'm in town, just stop by and meet my wife, or those things. That to me is that weighs heavier than any championship. It's just kind of like when you're coaching kids and you look up and they're productive members of society. They have families. They love fatherhood. You know that you've had an impact on it some way, and that's what matters the most. And being able to represent Las Vegas in the Clark County School District in a positive way across the country means a lot. But when I come back home and I get that kind of love and appreciation from everybody, it's unbelievable. I really, truly appreciate it. I don't think anybody loves Vegas more than I do, and so to get that back, it's tremendous. It means a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, and what would it mean to you to see UNLV back where UNLV is supposed to be? Not where people would want them to be, but where they're supposed to be. Because, I mean, they're a national brand. They're a national, to me, they should be a national power. I mean, so what would it mean to you for them to get back to where they're at?
Well, I mean, that means a lot to me. To me, I feel as though it's the way it should be. I feel like we are one of the blue bloods, not because of the national championship in 90 and a dominant team in 91 or those teams in the 80s, more so for the fact that the way that we revolutionized college basketball. And that had a trickle up effect, I guess you would say, even into the NBA today. Shooting 3-pointers in transition, pushing the ball out of made baskets. A lot of teams would only push the ball after a miss or a turnover. But to come in with the style, I mean, Roy Williams had a tremendous amount of success at Kansas and North Carolina, essentially running that same fast break transition offense. I had success with it at Columbus State. We did it a little bit here in Phoenix, did it in Wyoming. But that is a style of basketball that so many people know and so many people recognize that I don't think that Coach Tarkanian and that staff or UNLV's program and the style that we play in the city of Las Vegas gets enough respect. Because if you look around the country, there are a lot of guards that grew up playing that style of basketball in youth leagues throughout Las Vegas that have been successful. The Jonathan Lloyds, the Marcus Banks, the Marcus Lawrences, Pierre Jackson. There's so many guards that played that style, grew up playing that style, that were essentially almost carbon copies of Greg Anthony. Guys that could push the ball, defend 94 feet. Vegas guards don't go anywhere and get beat. They handle pressure and they deliver pressure. And that's why, we're getting that respect as far as players, but I don't think the program gets the respect for really bringing that style of basketball to the court.
Yeah. I mean, maybe one of the next greats to come out of Las Vegas, Jaden Hardy, McDonald's All-American. So he maybe the next great one. We have there's one from Las Vegas right now. She's playing in the national the national championship game that plays for Arizona.
Yes. So I think that we're getting. I mean, it's slow. I mean, we got to understand we're a very young city as far as the rest of the country. So it has taken a while. For people to recognize the level of talent in Vegas. But I think that people need to, especially young players, need to understand what the ghost. I call them the ghost of Thomas and Mack. There's guys, the Mark Wades, the Danny Tarkanians, Mark Dickel, unbelievable point guard. We had a lot of great players come through that program. That people talk about dunks, right? I show people Jarvis Bass-Knight's dunk at Thomas and Mack when he jumped over a guy. I think it was 1984, something like that. And the video is so bad you can barely tell what it is. But he literally jumped over top of a guy, and in transition, the guy's sitting there ready to take it. He jumps over the guy. This is 35 years ago.
Wow.
That's what was happening there, and I just don't think enough of the country recognizes that.
So, man, with all that being said, like, what do I have to do? What do we got to do to get you in contact with Kevin Kruger and Desiree Reed-Francois? I mean, I know that he just hired his first assistant coach this past week. I announced it on the air here. I would hope that your people get to his people. I mean, something like that. How's that whole thing work?
Yeah, something like that. I think that hopefully in due time that Kevin and I get a chance to sit down. I think that with the free time that Lon has, his father, Coach Kruger has, I think that it'll give him an opportunity to sort of mentor him. I think that'll be great. At the end of the day, Kevin is a young coach, but he's a very cerebral player, which is going to make him a very, very good coach. He understands the culture. He understands what the city wants. The city wants him to succeed. And I think that that's a very big part of it. I think he does understand the importance of the community and the program and representation of the two. So hopefully we do get the opportunity to sit down and discuss that further. We'll let it go from there.
I got you. Well, you were talking about like your phone starting to go bananas anytime that there's an opening here. I mean, I saw the local newspaper had something similar to what we're talking about, bringing Shea Jones home. So I'm here because I've seen your coaching up close and personal a long time ago with the Las Vegas Venom, the old A team. Now that's how I met you actually playing basketball. So
yeah. See, I thought you were going to say you saw them close and personal because I was yelling at you on the court.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, that's just the way I play. It's nothing personal.
Now, I remember hooping against you as well over at the 24-Hour Fitness on Buffalo Sahara.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Shea Jones, my guy. Lastly, getting out of here, I got to get a prediction on the national championship game. It is Las Vegas. I don't want any money, but I mean, who do you think is going to get it? It's going to be a good one. Baylor, as you said, guards get down and they guard going against Gonzaga, a team going for what UNLV couldn't get and what Bobby Knight and his Hoosiers got. So what do you got?
As a great Coach Gergerich always said, defense wins it. People look at it 103 points versus 73 points and say, wow, UNLV really No. It's the defense. And that second half in that championship game against Duke, it was defense. And I think ultimately that's what's going to happen here. I'm obviously biased. I don't want a team to go undefeated because UNLV didn't go undefeated. But however, I'm going to be honest with you. I really, really think that at the end of the day, that Timmy is kind of like Mark Madsen. Remember Mark Madsen?
Yeah,
he's kind of like
Kevin McHale down low.
It's great, but I think the athleticism of Baylor and the way that their guards can pressure the ball and force Suggs to get rid of it and Kispert not to get clean looks, I think that they're going to pull that off, and I think that they're going to suffer the same fate. The people in Spokane are going to suffer the same fate for the next 30 years that we have to suffer here in Vegas and wonder what it would have been like to be undefeated. So,
there you go.
Plus, Pierre Jackson played at
Baylor.
You know what? Also, Alex Hernandez. People forget about Alex Hernandez, Valley High School, played at Gonzaga when Mark Few really started getting those teams going. People forget about him. He's a really good player.
Okay, all right. So you're going with Pierre Jackson's former club, the Baylor Bears. Matter of fact, little tidbit, I was actually working in New Orleans when Pierre Jackson was drafted by the New Orleans Pelicans. And I actually played basketball with Dell Demps. He was one of my guys, one of my adult leagues back in the day. So
remember earlier I mentioned Kenyatta Clyde. Kenyatta Clyde played for me at Vegas High School. He went to Baylor. So there's a Vegas connection there. Vegas, we're going for Baylor.
There you go. From the mouth of one Shea Jones, Coach Shea Jones. Hey, I really appreciate you coming back and talking with me. And I can't wait to see you back here in Las Vegas, hopefully sitting on the bench and living your dream.
All righty, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. I think you do an excellent job. I love my city, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon.
My man.